It's time to sit back and check out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your host, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
What is going on, kind people? Lee Sanders with you guys for a beautiful Wednesday. At least it is Wednesday. Oh, hang on. There's a mosquito. Hang on. Yeah, I got it. It's live, pal. Anything can and will happen. This beautiful Wednesday. It's so nice. I have my window open. I've got my blinds open here in the studio. And right on cue, a mosquito decides, hey, buddy, how you doing? No, not today. Not today. Longtime listeners know this, but when it comes to mosquitoes, once I know there's a mosquito within my vicinity, my mind is just fixated on, I want to kill it. I want to kill it. I want to kill it. That's all I'm focused on. Hey, hope you guys are having a fantastic week so far. Doing this impromptu episode, a little bit of an impromptu episode, because honestly, I was supposed to just kick back and enjoy the week off, but I decided, no, you know what? I have a little bit of a fun window of opportunity in my schedule. Let me go on ahead and do a show for you guys. So hope you guys appreciate the kind gesture and everything. You guys can interact with me all throughout social media for the next little bit that we are going to be live and everything. So my week so far, as I told most of you guys, I began my new semester at college last week. And I'm going at it hard as I've got like almost 20 credit hours worth of courses that I'm doing because I'm so damn close to the finish line and everything. So it's been an interesting journey this whole first week because it's so weird, because on the one hand, okay, I'm back on the saddle again. I'm getting back into the groove of things. All right, yes, I'm there. But then on the other hand, I'm starting to come across a serious learning curve. Like for the first time ever, I'm having a learning curve. That learning curve is coming from one particular class that I have, which is on plant science, basically. And I don't know certain lingo, terminology. You guys know how it is. You may be an expert in all things plants and all that, but maybe there's something you're not an expert in. And so you got to understand a whole new use of terminology, definitions, and procedures, all that crap. And so I'm left in this position where I'm going, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do this. And I've got my wife pretty much pulling a Mickey from Rocky Balboa, snap out of it. You can do it. And it's like, yeah, I can do it. I will do it. Yeah, so I'm going in a little bit unconfident right now. But on the real tip, and I really hope that he's going to be okay. One of my professors had a medical emergency. So I go to class on Monday, usual time and everything. I come across a couple of fellow students. Hey, what up? Not much. What's up? Yeah, wait and get into this classroom. Yeah, bet. We're waiting there for almost a half hour. Nothing's happening. We're going, okay, the fact that we're the only three here, okay, something must have went down with our professor. We need to figure out like what's going on, but who can we talk to? Like, what do we do? So I ended up sending an email to my professor right on my phone. And man, within less than 5 minutes, I get a notification, and he pretty much says that he is at urgent care. Something's going on with his health. He's not feeling good. Long story short, no class for that day. So I'm going, ooh, I relate this to my fellow classmates, and we're like, well, what's going on? What is he all right? Like, what happened? Like, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, but no class today. So his status pretty much was up in the air because with his class, I do two of them. So the second class, which is today, supposed to be this morning. Well, we get an email from him late last night letting us know his condition has not got any better. If anything, it's worse. And he's not even sure if there's even going to be class today. So we hear back finally by not by him, but he's out. That's it for him. For the rest of the week, he is out. As far as next week, I think that's like a touch and go situation. I don't know what the hell is going on with him. I'll be honest with you guys, and I hate speculating. When I saw my man looked as though, damn, if this guy doesn't have some type of heart issues, I don't know, high cholesterol. He did not look well when I saw him. Notice he was sweating profusely. This is my first time seeing the guy from last week, and I'm seeing that he's sweating profusely. He's slightly bigger than me. And we're all in this nice air conditioned, facility. And then we're going to the stage, we're looking at the lighting equipment, cameras, everything we're going to be messing with for the semester. It's a television production class. Everything we're going to messing around with. I mean, this guy is just like sweating profusely. I mean, greasy and everything. I'm going, what's wrong with this dude? So I don't know. I hate to speculate, but I really hope the guy has a speedy recovery. They had found a substitute at the very last minute this morning, but then they had said, look, anybody that doesn't want to come that already got the email saying no class and you already made arrangements, like don't worry about it. You're not going to be penalized for skipping the class, like, yeah, okay, bet. Like I want to get caught up on my work anyway. So part of the reason why we're doing this show right now, because originally we're supposed to be on vacation from the shows, wasn't going to come back till next week. Honestly, I was not going to come back until next week because this is usually about that time that I like to get in a break. By the way, picked a great time to tune in. Lowe's we're going to be getting into. I got to ask you guys, what did you think about that presidential debate last night? I made sure that before I hit the road, I was in front of my TV and I was watching that. The timing my wife had was great because she came in, I would say, about 15 minutes after it began. Because she was like, "Hey, did I miss that much?" I said, "Nah, nah, like you're good." And so the debate is on, and at the same time, I'm fixing one of our toilets in the house because one of the pump valve joints needed to be replaced. So I'm literally listening to the debate, working on the toilet, laughing and yelling, going back and forth with the wifey over the stuff that we were hearing on the debate and everything. And I did poll you guys. I put two polls out. I did one on X. I did one on the YouTube channel asking you guys what did you think about the debate? And here's where we stand right now. Shout out to everybody that have voted via X, as that was a fantastic turnout. I am seeing that these were your options, by the way. Same results, or rather, same options on YouTube. Refuse to watch, neither, Trump, Harris. Pretty cut and dry, right? 4% of you said you refuse to watch. This is the results via X so far. 6% of you said neither. 44% of you said Kamala Harris. And just slightly with the lead right now, 46% of you are saying Donald Trump. And it was interesting watching this fluctuate from the moment that I put it out. And then I would maybe check a couple of times every 15 minutes or whatever. And what started off, and I said to my wife, I said, oh, Kamala Harris has a nice little lead. It's not by much because within the first 5 minutes, I want to say she had Trump beat by about 5 points, 5%. And I'm like, this is looking kind of like, I don't know. I think this is going to keep going back and forth here. Like, we're going to have to see how this plays out and everything. But various times that I've been checking it out, it's been flip flopping. 1 minute, it's been Harris. The next minute, it's been Trump. But that's how everybody has voted so far on X. Appreciate you guys that voted via X. Let's see how you guys had voted via YouTube. YouTube.com/the RCWR show. Click on the posts section. It used to be community. I wish they would bring that back because that was really nice. This is what I'm seeing so far for YouTube. 6% said neither. 12% said refuse to watch. Meanwhile, top dog right now, it's a tie at 41% for Trump and Harris, which is very interesting because when this YouTube poll had first started off, my pretty babies, it was a deadlock tie when it first started. So to now essentially see 14 hours later that, okay, we're pretty much for YouTube, I'm talking about now, the YouTube poll. Wow, how it started and where we are now. Very interesting. Now, look, you don't need to be spamming out and vote on both polls. If you guys did not vote yet, you've heard what you've heard. Go on whatever platform you want to go on and vote because I will be following up on this one more time. I know Tammy's definitely she's in that talking spirit when it comes to the political season. She's definitely looking to sound off about this. So we're definitely going to be dropping a Wrestling with the Topics edition this weekend. So look forward to that as I am definitely anticipating hearing what she has to say and everything. Let's talk about AEW All Out for a minute. By the way, shout out to you guys that's tuning in live. I see Samoan Watchmen. Yes, those mosquitoes, they are a bitch, let me tell you. I want to address the All Out post show that I did a few days ago. First of all, I appreciate everybody that took the time out to check out that post show. Whether you watched it on demand or you listened to the audio on demand and downloads, however you represent it. I do appreciate you guys that went out of your way. You checked it out. Means a lot, right? Even if, and I will give credit where credit is due, even when we had those who disagreed with some of the things I had to say about that pay per view event, at least the way in which you all responded was very civil. And I commend those that operated that way. Because at the end of the day, I try to treat people the way I want to be treated, and that's with respect. But we had a few knuckleheads, and I should have left the comments so people could have gone back and easily seen it themselves. And I think next time I'm going to do that because I think somebody had said to me a long time ago, Lee, whether you get positive comments on your YouTube videos or negative comments, like just the fact that you've got those interactions, it's actually helping your content, leave them in place. But and I will definitely going forward, because normally I have this whole zero tolerance for, hey, look, if you're gonna come onto the channel, you gotta be respectful to everybody. Damn sure gotta be respectful to me. Otherwise, it's like, yeah, sayonara, bitch. But some of the comments that I had received on that post show, like there was one guy particularly who did not appreciate the fact that I did not go out of my way to stress after everything that went down in the Swerve Strickland Hangman Page match, that I did not stress the fact that the match ended with a knockout blow to the head by a chair shot. Hangman knocking out Swerve. That pretty much was a knockout. And as far as he was concerned, it was a miss. And I told him, I said, dude, because this was my thought process when I was reading this. I may have two things. I may be black and I may have a bald head, but I am not fucking Michael Wilbon. right? This is not ESPN. I am not going to be coming on here move for move, and then this happened and it was followed by this. I am, when it comes to all of these shows, pay-per-view shows, television shows, I am giving my immediate reaction, my knee-jerk reactions. On top of all that, you notice how in recent months we've shaken it up. We've shaken up the format of, okay, boom, 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 chronological order, all that. Now it's just whatever comes to mind, loose conversation, go with it as we will, right? If somebody is that pressed for, no, 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 I got to hear it in a specific order. I got to know about the moves. Okay, look, you better go to some wrestling site where somebody's typing that stuff out, live results, or if you got it on your DVR, or you better do something. Watch it. Ultimately, you better do something, because like we ain't gonna be doing all that. We ain't gonna be holding the motherfucker's hand and just no. We ain't got time for that. Not anymore, right? So that's in part what I said to this cat and everything. And I said, look, I don't really know what the hell you're talking about. I said, but to just nitpick. My whole thing was to just nitpick like that. Like, come on, man. And I told him, I said, you know what? It still does not change the overall impression that I had about that match. So on the one hand, this guy came off trying to respect the fact that I didn't like the match. Well, first off, I never said I did not like the match. What I said was there was some good spots in that match. The first half of the match, the fans were pretty much sitting on their hands. And I get it, because here it is. It's supposed to be technically an unsanctioned match that they're watching and everything. They're waiting for everything to pick up action wise. So the first half of the match, but once they started picking it up, okay, now we're getting there. Now it's getting interesting. But for me, the stuff with the syringe and then that devastating chair shot to the head, and there was a whole bunch of spots in that match that just made me cringe. And I respected those that ended up liking that match. Wasn't particularly my cup of tea. Oh my god, but the people that was coming from out of the woodworks, oh my god, it was hilarious, you guys. We had people, this is all because I did not give a glowing 5-star out of 5-star review for Swerve and Hangman. We had people that didn't like the fact that I gave the pay-per-view a a A. They didn't like the fact that I didn't give it an A. They hated that I gave it a C plus, which there's nothing wrong with that. That's a passing grade. That's a passing grade. If you're a college student and you're going, man, all I'm trying to do, I'm trying to get my degree. If I can just at least get a C and up, like this course is hard. If I can just get a C and up, man, I'd be happy. I'll settle for a C. It's a passing grade. Right? People go, hey, all right, kind of average. Okay, all right, cool. Oh man, we have motherfuckers coming from out of the woodworks. Lighten your man up. It was savage. My personal favorite was the mofo that decided, oh, well, since you're gonna not really like this pay-per-view and you're not really gonna like the main event, I'm gonna make fun of your number of views that you're getting for this webcast. So he's scrutinizing. He's like, okay, I can't get him on the subs because his subs, it's a decent amount. I can't get him for his overall views for his YouTube channel because that's pretty good as well. Um, okay, so where can I get him? Where can I can't call him ugly because he is, I'm not gay or nothing, but he is somewhat an attractive looking man. He's a decent looking dude. I can't get him there. I can't get him on his mouth because all his teeth is nice and straight. Looks like he takes care. I can't get him there. What can I get him? Okay, I can get him on the views because at the time that I'm looking at this, he only got like 200 views. Oh, you know what? I can get him on the title of his video as well. Yeah, yeah, that's how we get that. Yeah, I got him. Send. And I'm just kicking back. I didn't even go into, when I was younger doing this whole podcast thing, I would but then as I got, I was like, I got time for that. I got time. No, less, say less. I see this diatribe of crap that this guy's putting out there, all because I didn't like the main event match. And I want to really make sure that we're clarifying this. The match, the fight itself between Swerve Strickland and Hangman Page, what I particularly, for the record, want to make sure that I am crystal clear here. Yeah, right. I'm not changing my opinion. None of that. I just want to make sure definitively it's clear. The fight that these guys had, I get it, everything that's built up to it. But when you look at everything that I highlighted, you're shaking your head going, well, he's got some very valid points, that Lee. The fight itself, I felt, got overshadowed by the sensationalism and the shock value that was put with certain spots, definitely the last two at the very end. For the record, that's where I was on that. But overall, I'm like, hey, C plus. And I'm getting lit up for, oh, your man was just kicking back. I said, honey, I remember one point I'm on the tablet and I'm like reading some of these comments. I say, honey, come read this. And then we're having a laugh, looking at some of this stuff. We're going, wow, we're really going there, huh? Nothing compared to what was going on with Hall of Famer, pro wrestling legend, Ricky Morton. Oh my God, poor Ricky Morton. Did you guys see the stuff that was happening with him on social media? In case you're not aware of it, Ricky Morton had saw the clip in question when Hangman Page took that steel chair to the dome of Swerve. And he had the following to say on social media. Pull that up for you guys right now. Pretty sure I got that. Ricky Morton, where is he? Maybe it's on the other. Oh, I didn't load it up. That's okay. I can easily find it very, very quick. All I got to do is just go to my replies here on X. And when I saw this, I just shook my head because I actually, as many of you longtime listeners know, you'll remember, I met Ricky Morton. I met the Rock and Roll Express. I met them on the Jericho cruise a couple of years back. And man, they were so freaking nice to myself and the wifey. We had a great time. They made us feel really good. That Rock and Roll Express. I still pick on Tams about this to this very day. And she gets beat red and she's in tears laughing when I bring it up. But I remember at one point when we were doing the meet and greet with them on the cruise, um, you know, uh, I'm trying to think what happened. I think Tams had approached the Rock and Roll Express first. And Ricky was taking a look at her, and it was almost like Ricky was sizing her up a little bit, kind of like, well, damn, honey, ain't you a cute little thing? And sure enough, he liked what he saw. And then he looked at me, and then he's like, oh, y'all together? And she was like, yeah, that's my husband. And he was like, come on, brother, get on over here, man. Come on, we can't do this without you. And it was so nice and everything. But like the whole cruise, we constantly, me and the wife, everybody else, we constantly would see them, interacting, eating in the same areas, that the common folks were eating in, gambling in the same open areas, very approachable. And I tell you what, if I had to pick on somebody's brain when it comes to all things wrestling. I want to pick on somebody's brain, somebody that's been in it, somebody that thrived in it for decades. I want to be a sponge and I want to just pick their brain on any and every freaking thing. Yeah, you know what? Ricky Morton, I'm definitely gonna pay attention to what he has to say. So, Ricky Morton reacts to this, and you actually had an AEW fan that pretty much was trying to school Ricky Morton. Ricky Morton saying, stop headshots with steel chairs. Now, he elaborated much more on this thought process, right? And I like that he expanded his thought on this as well, because I'm a sucker for context. Context is very, very, very important. Want to expand on that. Here's what he had to say. Ricky's been pretty busy with the social media here. He's been pretty busy. Hang on here. I am looking. Here we go. I paid the price. I ran so these wrestlers could walk. It's not about let that shit ride. It's about learning from our history and not making the mistake twice. Hang on. He's not done yet. Chair shots to my temple have caused lots of damage to my memory and caused lots of concussion. I have to take specific medication from taking those shots. Please don't go through what I put my body through. We have evolved since then. I don't know about you guys. I don't have any issue with what Ricky Morton has said here so far. Now, here's that one AEW fan, the very overzealous AEW fan, mind you, that commented here. Hang on. I'm still getting used to this new setup that I have in the studio here. So you guys know my Alienware 17 computer, that's like on the fritz. So I've basically transferred everything over to my MacBook. And that's how we're streaming the show now and everything. And I mean, it's going good so far, but I'm still having a couple of learning curves. As I had put it a couple of months ago, it's like you're playing around with an overgrown iPad, but there's a few other little, oh, I didn't know about that. Oh, okay, I didn't know about that. Okay, cool. Here's what this one knucklehead fan had said. Shouldn't a vet like you know when a chair is clearly rigged slash gimmicked? If you're not sure, maybe ask someone who would know before you use your platform to send unnecessary hate to another wrestling company employing wrestlers. Maybe protect the business a bit more, Ricky. Uh, First of all, unnecessary hate to another wrestling company employing wrestlers. Ricky Morton didn't say anything as far as hate goes. He just put out a cautionary warning, right? He just put out a statement. Hey, we got to do better than this because our industry as a whole and everything that we know about CTEs and everything, concussions, like, man, we don't need to be doing that type of stuff anymore. We need to be smarter about how we go in entertaining fans. Like, there's no need for this type of stuff anymore. There's no need for this type of behavior. And yet we have this fan that begs to differ. How soon we forget that the Rock and Roll Express what was it, y'all? I can't say. I know it wasn't 3 appearances. I'd be shocked if it was 3 appearances. But as far as I'm aware, at least one appearance, if not two, they made in AEW, if I'm not mistaken. So let me see if I got this straight. How soon we forget? Matter of fact, just to make sure I'm giving you guys the right information, unlike some other people, I'm gonna just say Ricky Morton, and I'm gonna say because I could have sworn he popped up on AEW Dynamite here. I know he was doing stuff in I know he was doing stuff in NWA, but I'm just curious if he did some stuff. Unless I'm thinking about another veteran tag team. Hang on here. I'm looking at his Wikipedia here. I could have sworn I might have my teams mixed up here. Hang on. Rock and Roll Express. And I'll just say matches. That way I could see the history of their matches. Because the last thing I want to do is misinform you guys and all that, especially in this day and age. There's a whole lot of misinformation that's out there. All right, so I'm looking at their matches here. I'm looking for that pretty AEW logo. Your man might be suffering from the Mandela effect, so maybe I took a chair shot or two. But while I'm looking that up, yeah, and it's not looking like they did anything. I'm thinking of another tag team. It looks like. Yeah, I'm already on 2017. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what tag team I'm thinking. I'm pretty sure it's going to pop up in my head. No, it was that tag team after I go off the air. But I remember there was a legendary tag team that had appeared. And I remember being so, not the Von Erichs. Please don't anybody say the Von Erichs. It wasn't them. There was some veteran team that I was going, oh wow, like you guys were able to tap into that. Like, okay, cool. But my whole point, don't you think Ricky Morton knows a couple of people in AEW? Don't you think he has friends, colleagues in AEW that he is constantly in communication with and everything? I mean, this was just totally disrespectful the way this fan had came at Ricky Morton. And when you look at this fan's profile information and all that, they obviously are someone that is just a fan of the industry. And that's where that ends, sadly. You know, a person that has not taken the time out to properly research the respected industry, which they love, a person that has not taken the time out to befriend a wrestler, really understand the inner workings, a person that has not taken it upon themselves. You know what? I'm going to train. I want to do some training. I want to know what all this involves. To hear this silly rhetoric of, oh, it's a rigged chair or it's a sand down. That's the most popular one right now. It's a sand down chair. Like that shit is going to make everything that much better when it comes to taking those blows. There's a video that I would definitely encourage anybody to go out of their way and check out. The video was produced a couple of years ago, but I just find it to be so relevant to what all was going on there with Ricky Morton. And it's this wrestler who has his own wrestling school. How about that? He trains people, been training them for years. And this guy is passionately telling you how, hey, there is no right and wrong way to take a chair shot. A chair shot is bad all the way around. You got to watch the video. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you guys a link and then the keywords that you all can use for that chair shot video. I'm actually looking at the link right now. Just bear with me a second. You guys are probably going to hear some audio here. So I got it loading up. And this guy is kick ass. I'm telling you, this guy is kick ass. Gives it to you right between the eyes. And as you're watching this video, this guy is just passionately imploring people, do not use a steel chair. Like, it's just bad. So if you want to find this, go on the YouTube channel and type in how to use the chair in pro wrestling. And the channel in question, it is Santino Brothers Wrestling. Pretty popular channel. They got over 124,000 subs. And this video has almost 120,000 views. Short video. It's like about 4 minutes. Go out of your way, check it out. And, like I said, when I was sharing this video on social media, I said, I don't know about you guys, but if I want to learn all things wrestling, especially when it comes to chair shots and all of that, I'm not going to be siding with a fan that's on the outside that obviously is coming off. Look, you can have respect for a fan that has taken the time out to research that respected industry and knows what they're talking about. They're citing reputable sources, be it from a training academy, be it from a veteran and respected insider, to even a professional that actually is involved in the business, or maybe a retired professional. At least you can, okay, respect, credit where it's due. All right, cool. But to just blindly jump out there, make those kind of comments, way to disrespect those that paved the way for those that are here today, I personally feel. So that just, as far as Black Eye this week, that one definitely, I was just amazed at that. I guess it's safe to say Rock and Roll Express won't be doing anything in the AEW realm anytime soon. Yeah, with comments like that, because we've seen this history from Tony Khan and crew, particularly Tony Khan, where anything negative, slightly negative about AEW, Tony Khan comes off very vindictive, right down to the point. Yeah, you are definitely not going to be having anything to do with us. We'll do business with any and everybody else over here. I mean, look at what happened with LaFisto. Poor LaFisto, when she was sharing her personal experience there in AEW, she wasn't trying to bury the company. She didn't even say anything negative about Tony Khan. There was other individuals that she was talking about, and how the entire women roster had lit her ass up over those comments. So we've seen this happen time and time again with veteran wrestlers. They've seen it all, they've been through it all. They've been in existence long time. Long time. They were in existence way before AEW was. And we see how they're being treated on social media. Heaven forbid. It's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. But, I always tell you guys how it is. And I will continue to tell you, plain and simple. You want to learn things about the business. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's so much information that's out there. It would be a disservice, I personally feel, if you're going to go into a argument with somebody on social media, much like what we saw with the debate last night, and you're not prepared. You got all the time in the world to prepare, and when it finally comes time for you to fire, all you coming up with is blanks. Like seriously. And then to see that writer David Bixpan, Spick and Span, as I like to call him, to see his little comments coming in there about the whole situation. It's like, dude, come on, really? This is the sword that you're gonna. I mean, this is David Bix, Spick and Span. This is a guy who's never trained or took a wrestling class or worked out with a wrestler. I'm gonna trust his word versus somebody that's actually been in the industry or currently is in the industry. Nah, man, you can miss me with all that. The biggest travesty of all, I don't understand why our society of wrestling fans are continuing to validate these guys like Spick and Span and others that just are honestly doing a great disservice to the wrestling industry as a whole. Because it kind of feels like a lot of these people that I'm thinking about, some that I've mentioned already, they are just, it's all about them and their personal agenda that they're trying to have be put out there. Not to get all into the weeds, but just something to think about, y'all. Just something to think about. Next time you're getting ready to throw that $5 down, on somebody's Patreon, like really ask yourself, what am I really getting out of this? What's the real value here? Now, I'm not telling you I want your money, right? Now, if you want to give me your money, hey, I'm back to drinking coffee these days. You'll be treating me to a cup of coffee. I'll take a donation gladly. But nah, man, you want to go for like WrestleNomics. WrestleNomics, they do a phenomenal. This ain't no paid endorsement, nothing like that. But like WrestleNomics, you want to go for stuff like that. Great job those guys do, Brandon and them, really getting into the nitty-gritty analytics, all that type of stuff. And it's nice because even us veteran podcasters that have befriended those in the industry, do interviews with some of those in the industry. We've seen it all, we've done it all. We're as unbiased as possible, and we really try to do a good job in presenting and making sense out of everything wrestling news related that's out there, to you guys and everything. There are a good number of us that's doing it right, but nothing beats that occasional. Well, you know what? For this particular instance, what does Cornette think? In this particular instance, what Bischoff got to say? Hey, in this particular instance, what does Dutch can be hit and miss. I like Dutch, but Dutch can be hit and miss because usually, with Dutch, I mean, James usually sets it up and he sets it up perfectly, especially for the viewers. But usually you'll get with Dutch Mantel. He's like, depending on the right topic, he can give some really good substance to it. But usually you'll get from Mantel, well, well, unfortunate, and then that's the end. Like, I mean, that's pretty much, that's pretty much it. Um, but yeah, you got some good guys out there that's definitely, you know what, if I go out of my way for this particular, like, for those little nuances and everything, like, I definitely need to know what's going on right here. So some food for thought. WWE Raw this week, Calgary, Canada. Average show. I personally felt right down to the point. I'm not going to do a full blown review. Just overall thoughts. I thought it was a bit of an average episode, give or take. Wow, how about that? I said average for AW All Out, and I'm looking at this week's Monday Night Raw, and I'm saying it was an average show. Wow. So I guess I'm not on WWE's payroll, huh, guys? Like it'd be news to me. Like, I love hearing that from times. Oh man, he on that WWE payroll. Don't trust that motherfucker. I don't trust him as far as I can spit that leak. Nah. To the point. Like, if I was on WWE's payroll, um, We need to have a serious conversation because your brother missing some checks. Pay me my money down now. Average show though. For me, the main highlight or highlights, Bret Hart. I always get, speaking of which, because I'm thinking about legends. You see me looking around. There is a box I'm looking for, and I thought I brought that box in here. I guess we can later on. I want to do an unboxing for you guys. There is a vintage Sid Justice, Psycho Sid figure that I had bought off of eBay. And I've been saving it so I could show it to you guys. So I thought that'd be kind of cool to do. So we'll do that later on in the show. Make sure you stick around for that. But Bret Hart always puts a big old smile on my face when I see Bret Hart. I love the living legend. I was very fortunate enough to meet him, I think almost 2 years ago. Met him down in Virginia for a meet and greet, and I loved it. I loved it, man. It was awesome. I had him sign big gold belt. I did an 8x10. I was so mad though because there was a photograph. I went on eBay. There was a photo, big old joint. It was like a 16x20 poster of Brett. And I was like, yo, this be badass. I'm like, I just don't know if I'll get it in time. I don't know. I don't know if I should. And I said, fuck it. I'm going to buy it. It did not arrive in time for the meet and greet. So I was totally blown by that. But I settled for this really cool 8x10. It's Brad with the WWF title and all that. But nothing would have beaten having him sign that 16x20. And as most of you guys know, that 16x20 poster was eventually signed by Brett a couple of weeks ago, thanks to Signed by Superstars having a mail-in virtual joint with the Hitman. So, but Hitman, it was nice meeting him. He is so fucking chill, so laid back. If you are new to doing meet and greets, you really don't do them like that. And or you're in a position where you're trying to figure out, okay, look, for the biggest bang for my buck, value wise, would it be well invested if I did this meet and greet? Bret Hart definitely. I've done quite a few meet and greets over the years. Bret Hart is in my top three. Bret Hart is in my top three. You won't be disappointed. It was cool. I remember I wore I had this Bret Hart shirt, and he looks at it and he goes, "Oh, that's a really cool looking shirt." Yeah. I said, yeah, yeah. You like it? He's like, yeah, I've never seen that design before. Am I getting paid for that? And I said, I hope so. I was like, I got this from Pro Wrestling Tees from their little crate box. He's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I got to look into that. And it was totally cool, man. He's one of my all time favorites growing up. So anytime get to see Bret Hart on the TV screen, I always pop. That was, by the way, a horrific graphic that they had of Brett when they were promoting him. I remember even Tams had saw the graphic and she goes, "Who the hell is that?" Well, supposedly Bret Hart. It's like, no. It's like, that's all she said. She said, no. Like, yeah. It's like my thoughts exactly. I love the utilization of him and furthering along the rematch for Sheamus and Gunther. I did not see the Gunther Goldberg disc coming. That took your man off guard. I laughed my ass off. I that I mean, and is it just me? I mentioned this before, but I can't help but highlight it again. Is it just me, or does it seem like Gunther is really having his fun in the sun moments? Because you see him, he's trying so hard to have a straight face, but then he kind of does this thing with his mouth. He does like this lip curl, and then it turns into an almost uncontrollable laugh, and he's trying to shake it off or whatever. Like you could tell he's really in the moment and all that. I just love those certain little knacks that he does and everything. And leading up to the Goldberg diss, I'm just continuing to look at him. I'm going, he's getting ready to have a zinger on Brett here. I see it coming. And sure enough, even though I saw it, I knew something was coming. I did not anticipate on my bingo card there'd be a Bret Hart diss thanks to Goldberg, right? I mean, telling Bret Hart to his face, hey, you'll always be my number two favorite, my number one. I loved it. It was good stuff. It was great stuff. Natalia coming back. I gotta admit, I missed her little sexy, cute little self. I missed her tremendously. I'm happy to see her back. Now, if I remember right, she's now kind of associated there with Lyra Valkyria. We'll see how that works out. If eventually you're telling me a match between Natalia and Valkyria, I would say, well, that should be a pretty good match. Um, Jay Uso is officially your number one contender. He will be facing not Bronson Reed, but I do know why I mentioned Bronson Reed. But he will be facing Jay Uso. That is, he'll be taking on. Um, oh God, I'm drawing a blank on my man's name. Art. Where my dog's at? Art. Braun Breaker. They'll be facing him for the IC title. I'm assuming at the Bad Blood pay-per-view event. That should be a fun match. I was thinking about Bronson Reed earlier because we saw him interfere in the final moments there against Braun Strowman. So it looks like those two big men. And I like that. I'm down with that. They created a lot of social media buzz with what they did 2 weeks ago. Keep it rocking, keep it rolling. I'm down with that. We got a major update on Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, just as we anticipated. Bad Blood, Hell in a Cell. That's going to be off the chains. And apparently, the way this is being dubbed, the final act. Okay, we'll see about that. We'll see about that if that's really going to be the final act. By the way, speaking of CM Punk, wasn't going to talk about this until much later, but again, we just go with the flow here on the show. How about that stuff that was going on with the girl that eventually became a young woman that made the nice CM Punk bracelet? Are y'all aware about the news involving her? In case you're not, let me get you caught up to speed because social media really came to this young girl's defense. Her name is Victoria. And when you go on her social media profile page, you see this post that she has back from April 8th that she pinned, where she had met CM Punk. And she talked about how CM Punk, 12-year-old me, and 24-year-old me are both crying, definitely worth the wait. And she actually gave him that bracelet. So it's amazing how, with that bracelet, everything turned into, with Drew McIntyre and all that other good stuff and everything. But she is the one that needs to be credited for making the Larry AJ bracelet. It's a really nice bracelet. I would push it myself. I just started getting into bracelets this year, actually. Right now, I'm pushing whenever I go out, and I usually wear it on my wrist, my tattooed wrist here, or forearm, I should say, my tattooed forearm. I usually wear it on this side, and I have a rainbow colored bracelet. I have a solid black bracelet, and I have a black dark brown bracelet. And I love pushing them and everything. Um, so yeah, I could see myself getting something like what she made and all that. To the point, WWE decided, okay, we're gonna do our own Larry AJ Lee bracelets. And this week they made it available on WWE Shop and everything. So word eventually, gets back to Victoria about this, as some people, a lot of fans, they're aware of the bracelet, the real origin of the bracelet, and they're marking out for her. And he's like, hey, your bracelet, oh, it's being used on the storyline. Hey, this is cool, all this other good stuff. And she had put out a series of posts talking about, what all was going on with, this bracelet. Because a lot of people are going, yo, Victoria, really hope that you're getting paid by WWE for this. Because if you're not getting paid, like what WWE is doing here, this is some fucked up shit. Like, what the hell, man? So I'm trying to see if I can find those series of posts, because I remember taking screenshots going, oh yeah, I definitely gotta share this with you guys. I don't think, yeah, I'm still trying to get used to looking at something on the iPhone and then looking at something on the iPad and the Mac, because it seems like, is it just me, or does it seem like it doesn't always sync up? Whatever you're taking a screenshot of, or a photo of, if you're using the camera on the device, it seems like it doesn't always sync up. For me, it's been hit and miss. Like sometimes I'll take a picture of something and it'll be across all my devices when I go and check later, and then it's no, no, no luck here. It's like, what the hell? But yeah, WWE, they had the CM Punk friendship bracelet on their WWE shop. Again, it was just Larry AJ bracelet. That's what they had. It's like, hey, okay, cool. Can go buy this. Like, this is great. Nice. And then she put out these posts. I'm looking at it now. Hi, everyone. Thanks again for all the nice words and support. I won't be asking for compensation from WWE, since they have every right to make bracelets. All I kind of was hoping for was maybe a mention in the description of the product, i.e., inspired by a fan. Okay, I don't see any harm in that. She continues on, not long. She did like 5 little quick posts just like that. Her follow up throughout this whole thing, I never expected to be given anything from WWE. All I wanted was for people to put a name, face to the where the bracelet came from. I completely understand why some of you guys are upset at WWE, and it means a lot to me that people care so much. For those replying to my initial post about me not getting a heads up and saying WWE didn't need to, I 100% agree they didn't need to. Legally, they have no obligation to reach out to me regarding this, but it just would have been nice to have heard it from them beforehand. Now, let me pause right there. Anybody that is pushing back on Victoria here, as far as, no, they don't owe you, they don't need to talk to you. Let me tell you something. This is a created piece of art. This is a created piece of work that Victoria created. When it's all said and done, it would be no different than if you went out of your way and you made this really nice drawing of CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, or insert your favorite wrestler. You made this really nice drawing, this really nice painting of them. And then somebody that's part of the WWE social media marketing team, they come across that piece of work and they decide, okay, you know what? This looks so damn good. And man, look at this. It's picking up quite a few likes, whatever. Maybe you go to a meet and greet, go to one of those fan access things, and you have said wrestler give their John Hancock on it and everything. And it really starts taking off on social media to the point that WWE marketing, yo, we need to try to make prints of that if possible. We need to try to make prints of that. And Man, if we can sell that on WWE Shop, that'd be great. Okay, well, did we get in contact with the person that created that art? Do we get in touch with them, get their permission, make sure that they're okay with this? Same rules applied right here, right? So again, some of you guys may say, "Yeah, no, no, no." How soon we forget about the whole Randy Orton tattoo thing with the video game. Do we need a refresher on that? Because now more than ever, especially now that WWE has this great partnership with TKO Endeavor, now more than ever, definitely need to make sure that all your X's and O's is covered, especially from a legality standpoint. Food for thought, people. Food for thought. Let's continue on. She has like two, maybe three more posts right here in regards to this. If they had reached out to me about it, I would have mentioned putting CM Punk on the bracelets instead of AJ and Larry. I think more people would have been interested in that. Since now it kind of diminishes the whole storyline purpose of the bracelet. I don't think anybody has an issue with what she just said there, right? I mean, she is, for a young girl, she is dead freaking on point here. I want to pick this girl's brain some more. She knows her stuff. And finally, WWE did reach out to me last week as a thank you from Punk and invited me to a show next month. But to my knowledge, that invitation had no correlation to them selling bracelets and wasn't offered as compensation. But I am still grateful for them contacting me at all. So obviously, WWE seeing her posts, they eventually came across her posts, and even though the bracelet was removed, what they did end up doing, they freaking followed her advice to the T. The bracelet put back up on shop and her specifications. Now it just reads CM Punk. And honestly, that's the way that it should have always been. Why would you have AJ and Larry on it like that? That makes no sense. That should be a one of a kind bracelet, unless somebody that is a really excellent bead bracelet maker, I can get those same materials. I can make that, if not even better. Yeah, watch this, right? No, you should have always, the bracelet that CM Punk was pushing, that is a one of a kind. You want one just like that? Okay, here you go, but it's gonna say CM Punk. Take it or leave it. This girl, this young woman, put some respect to Victoria here. Give her more respect. This young woman, her marketing game, her strategic campaigning is better as far as merchandise marketing than the people at WWE. Like, I don't know what they were thinking here. Usually WWE is pretty on point here when it comes to crossing off stuff, but this was a huge fumble. This was a huge fumble, and it needs to be a learning lesson for all parties involved that going forward, nah, man, need to make sure that if you're going to tap into some fan made artwork, and again, it's easy for people to say, they don't owe you. It's easy for people to say that when it's not their work. But let me tell you something, nothing is more gratifying, people, than when not only your work is recognized, but when somebody goes, hey, we want to feature that work. If you'll allow us, we want to feature that work on our website, or we want to feature that work in our magazine. Hey, we want to feature that work. I mean, perfect example. I remember last semester, there was a class assignment that I had where I had to come up. me and the rest of my peers in that respective class, we had to come up with a radio campus ad. We had to come up for an ad promoting the college and certain departments and all that. And we were given a list, and we basically could pick, okay, what do we want to highlight here? Okay. And at the end, we all would hear each other's work in the same class, and we would choose the top three. And whoever was the top three for that whole semester, even going into the summer, that ad would play on live campus radio. And we were told as we were doing all this, like, hey, don't forget, most importantly here, you know, you can mention this on your resume. You can put stuff like this down on your resume because it is a really good thing to mention. It's good bragging rights and all of that. It's like, okay, cool. I actually was one of the top three. My ad had played on the campus for the whole semester, going into the summer and all that. So nothing beats when your work is not only recognized, but when people want to showcase your work. It's no different than, remember what had went down with the little boy and his dad from SummerSlam, and they came up with the really cool shirt design and all that. And and look at how all that was handled. Look how all that was done and everything, right? So yeah, yeah. But I'm glad everything had came full circle for her at the end, and what a great positive outlook, that the young lady had. I got to give her mad kudos because um, results may vary. We see again what's going on with the Randy Orton joint. They ended up settling that too, by the way. Remember that was the tattoo artist that had a huge issue with the fact that the tattoo work that she gave Randy Orton was featured in the video game. She wasn't, or they, I can't remember if it was a him or a her, but I'll just say they, cover my bases. They were not contacted by WWE. They weren't even contacted by Randy Orton. And it's just one day, shit's just in the video game. And then that whole thing. Wow. I remember when we were talking about that, we were following that very closely here on the show and all that. But yeah, that ended up getting settled and everything out of court. So you got that that's going on. I'm looking forward to seeing CM Punk and Drew McIntyre at Bad Blood. The way the Bad Blood pay-per-view event is shaping up, pretty good. We still got a couple of more matches to go as far as announcements. Remember, that's going to be happening on Saturday, October 5th. That Bad Blood. Yeah, right now we've got, I think it's either 2 or 3 matches. I'm looking at the card right now. 3 matches right now. Let's not forget we got Liv Morgan defending the women's championship against Rhea Ripley. And then just announced on Raw this week, we got Damian Priest taking on Finn Balor. Just going to be a straight up regular match. So we got a little bit of progress that went down as far as Bad Blood goes. Anything else noteworthy you guys would like me to comment on specifically from Raw this week? Sound off, let me know. Um, most of the matches for the night, with the exception of the main event match and figuring out who's going to go on to face Braun Breaker. Only other match that, okay, you know what? I'm interested. That was good. The women's tag title rematch, Isla Dawn, Alba Fire taking on Jay Cargill and Bianca Belair. I thought that was solid. The opener there, American Made, White Six. Thought those were pretty decent as well, but everything else was just pretty much I can honestly do without. I'm honestly good. I did watch NXT from last week. That pairing of Wendy Chu and Rosemary. Uh we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes. I mean, it's the right pairing, but I feel it's a little too part of me feels like it's a little bit too cornballish. Part of me feels we need to go more more darker. We need to go more I'm not feeling the aura of it so far. It feels slightly cornballish. And I don't know why, because some would make the argument to me, well, Lee, we're talking about Rosemary and we're thinking about decay, and it's kind of always been a little, not to me, not to me. The stuff that Rosemary did in TNA continues to do in TNA. Yes, there was some hokey dokey stuff here and there, but for the most part, the overall presentation of Rosemary, I don't think WWE has lost sight of it whatsoever. It's just, it's a weird transplant right now. I get what they're trying to do with Wendy and everything, and I think it'll definitely go well with the audience. But that's a particular niche that we're talking about here. Let's make sure we're clear on that. That's a very particular niche we're talking about. I need to see a little bit more, but I'm pulling. I'm hoping that because Wendy Chu has taken a serious 180. I like what's going on with this current gimmick of hers, and I want it to work. I want it to succeed here because if this doesn't work for her, I have a sick feeling that she's going to get put on the chopping block. And I honestly would hate for that to happen because I do see potential in the young woman. I definitely do. Seeing my man Hammerstone make his NXT debut, I loved it. I love seeing the big man. I've been following Hammerstone for years. Hammerstone, that's my dude. That is my dude. I love everything about that guy. I mean, he's got a great look constantly. By the way, I am aware of the PWI 500. I'm actually going to try to see if I can get a digital copy. Maybe a friend can hook me up or whatever. And this weekend, as part of maybe wrestling with the topics. We'll have to see. I got to see what's going on with my man Julian Cannon from Digiday and the Nocturnal. See if he'll be around in the next couple of days because I would love to sit down with him and go over that list. Maybe kind of do a crossover joint between shows. Maybe we could do something like that. Do 40 here and then do a 40 on another show and then, kind of do like a crossover that way. I'll let you guys know. But I am aware of the PWI 500 list. I haven't had time to really sit down. I just glanced at some categories, but I haven't actually sat down and read. Okay, this is who? What? I don't know about that one. But it was nice yesterday and the day before seeing people, wrestlers particularly, that's what I'm talking about, react to their placement in the PWI because it seemed like Christmas for a lot of these wrestlers. And I was excited for them. Like half of these people, your man don't even know. And I'm excited for them that they are on the list. Miss Thing, there is no guest list tonight. But anyway, pay me no mind. I'm thinking about a song from Death Squad. Pay me no mind. Anyway, we talked about Raw, right? I don't think there's anything else from Raw we need to dive into. We were talking about Hammerstone. Yeah, Hammerstone taking on Abba Femi. Uh Great NXT in-ring debut for Hammerstone. Losing effort, but it's all right. It's all right. I thought he did great. He seized the opportunity very well. I just couldn't help but kick back and go, God damn, son. Great transplant there in the WWE realm. Like, seriously, great look. Everything matched up well. I mean, the overall presentation, the execution, the perform, everything just check mark, check mark, check mark. The big man did good. I love what's going on here at NXT because literally anything can and will happen. You just don't know who's going to be popping up, which led me to an interesting thought process, which is okay, well, for me personally, what other folks, not just TNA, just in general, perfect world, I can even include AEW, perfect world, right? Everything's on the up and up, everybody's kumbayaing with each other. Who would I like to see come through NXT? And man, did I have fun just off the top of my head. First off, shout out to my boy, my main man, JTG. Oh man, to see JTG, this dude has gone through such a great transformation that in 2024, it continues to baffle my mind that we are not seeing him on American television on a weekly basis. I just go, look at this guy. If you're going to start up a wrestling promotion and you've got yourself a TV deal, I mean, you are going to go on ahead, especially if you are able to, acquire the talents of a JTG. You're going to go ahead and, yeah, give me that. Hell yeah, great look, great charisma, solid on the mic, everything you would want, hands down. But JTG, top of my freaking list, like number one. I think he would do very well in the NXT realm. Another person that I'm thinking about is, I think he personally would have thrived, and I get it because he's, a much older cat and all that. But Shelton Benjamin, I feel Shelton really would have freaking thrived while also at the same time helping to elevate the future stars of tomorrow. Shelton would have thrived big time there in NXT to the point I could have pictured him as a NXT world champion. Now, some of you guys may push back on that and say, yeah, I don't know about that one, yo. Like, no, I really feel he would have done extremely well. I don't know why it has not happened yet, but why we have not gotten the Hex like on a regular basis, the Hex. I would love to see Allison Kay and Marty Bell with their current gimmick because they are just continuing to tear it up on the independents. By the way, shout out to my people that love them some Allison Kay photos. My God, her content is spicy. Ooh, wee. That content, man. Ooh, I'm not a paying member. I just happen to know a friend that, has a subscription and he'll tease me once in a while. He'll be like, hey, Lee, hey, big dog, I know you like Allison K, man. Here, take a look at this. I'm going. Don't tease me like that, dog. Like, why you gotta do a brother like that? Like, I tell him, that's dirty, man. That's dirty. He's like, you like it though. I'm like, yeah, I do. It's like, yeah, I do. I got a question for you guys. Speaking about Allison K, her derriere, I'm loving it now. But when did it get that big? And before anybody goes, hey man, why are we talking? Hey, she opened the door because if you go on her social media joint, go on X, look her up. She got a picture where she's leaning over a balcony, and the angle in which the photograph is taken is from behind, and so she's bending over this balcony, and you're going, well, damn, when that happened? And good Lord, is there a full moon out tonight? It's a damn good looking full moon too. Y'all gonna have to chat me up on that, get me caught up to speed. It's kind of got one of those DMX verses to it. Talking the show that made me want to do something nice. looking at her like we want to do something like I know right when I see right. Shorty better get with the green light. She tight. She bite. Right. You got that one verse, but since she gave me that ass is getting fatter. It's woo. That's all I gotta say. But I would like to see the Hex. I think they would thrive really well down there in NXT. Um, Queen Amanada. Give me Queen Amanada. How would you guys feel about the beautiful people? Just a very short run, the beautiful people. How would y'all feel about them popping up in NXT there? Velvet Sky, Angelina Love. That I think they would freaking La Rosa Negra. I definitely take my money, La Rosa Negra. Any day of the week. My God. Pretty and can kick ass. Literally. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely sign me up. Um, Bloodbound Warriors got me wondering I gotta see what's going on with them. I've lost track of them. I've lost track of them. Mecha Wolf, best 666 for sure. Definitely would love to see them. What's going on with Kobe Carino? I know at one point he signed with NXT, and I guess what? It didn't come to fruition under the Vince McMahon regime, maybe, and he eventually got let go. Yeah, I would have loved to seen what would have happened with him down there in NXT. There's still that part of me that, hey, perfect world. Let's see what happens here. Let's see what we got. Who else? Before anybody says EC3, I'm good. You can miss me with EC3. I don't want to see EC3, much like I don't want to see the Cowboy James Storm. Like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. Trying to think who else. Those are just a couple of names that's jumping out at me. Camille. For sure, Camille. I would love to see her. I would love to see her in the NXT realm. That reminds me, your current NWA women's champion. By the way, shout out to the people over there at NWA. I got the sweetest email that I was shown a couple of days ago. The people at NWA, they actually had got in contact with us over here, and they wanted to know if we'd be interested in doing a couple of interviews, and they had mentioned a couple of names. And basically with my current college workload, work schedule and all that, I just really would not have the time and everything. And it's sad because I've been hit up the past couple of weeks, hey, would you be up for interviewing? And it sucks that I've been saying no to these respective promotions and all of that, but it would be a disservice because I wouldn't be able to give them my absolute best. And I'm proud to say that anytime I've done an interview with somebody, man, whether it was a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, the interviews still hold up pretty well. And if anything, you can appreciate the evolution that I've made as an interviewer from when I first began to where I am now and everything. So, but like I had told them at NWA, I said, you know, spring slash summer of 2025, I'll be back on the wagon again doing interviews. So, anytime, onwards, like, yeah, for sure. Kenzie Page is who I was thinking about, though. She's the current semi-new NWA Women's World Champion. Watching her evolution, she's definitely come a great ways. Tom Latimer. Now, I understand in regards to Tom Latimer, it's kind of a delicate situation because of who he used to date. If you don't know the history on that, woo is all I gotta say. Max the Impaler I have had this fascination with Max the Impaler for a minute now in the independents, but I would love to see her do some stuff in NXT as well. So yeah, there's some good talents that's out there for sure. Um, but those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts as far as like, just off the break. If you throw a name at me after the fact, I'll be able to tell you, yeah, yeah, them too. Yeah, for sure. Right. But I love this whole thing that they've got going on here where NXT has almost become, but see, here's where we need to be careful if you're WWE and just that NXT brand. Here's where you need to be careful. The last thing you want is for NXT to become, okay, who's coming by this week? You don't want to have it. I use the old podcast analogy, which is, look, when you're doing a podcast, once you figure out the type of content you're going to be covering, you definitely want to make sure that the show is designed in such a way. Now, look, if all you want to do is interviews, okay, that's great. But don't get your feelings hurt if you end up deciding, okay, I don't want to do any guests this month. I'm just going to fly solo. And then your listeners are coming by and they decide, yeah, yeah, peace out, my dude, because you ain't interviewing nobody. Like, you got to find that right balance. You got to find that right balance and you've got to maintain that balance. That way, okay, yeah, the people that are here, yeah, they're coming for me. They want to know what I have to say. Okay, great. Versus, okay, they're just here for the guests. You know, I think WWE so far is finding that right balance. I think they need to continue to let it be in its current form. This whole spontaneous, okay, we're gonna just work on this particular person that you're gonna be seeing. You'll get this one over here, but we're not gonna go overkill with this, right? Now TNA is continuing to benefit from this partnership greatly. But their 15 minutes, man, they got to capitalize. I said it last week. They got to make sure that they capitalize. And if that means ultimately they need to go live on television so they can best reflect what's going on, it's kind of like what I was saying last week. And we had Edward in the chat to verify when TNA, hey, is TNA, are they still uh, doing pre recorded stuff for their TV shows? And it's like, yes, they're still doing that. It's like, no, we need to make that be live already. Get that as close to real time as possible so it can match up to what folks are seeing. It's like, did you guys not really learn from what happened there with your association with AEW? I mean, they weren't really able to capitalize then per se. So, but some decent highlights from this week's NXT. Some decent stuff from this week's NXT. I'm aware of the Logan Paul Kevin Nash stuff that went down. I had a nice hearty laugh looking at that. I don't know what was the more, that or the fact that Logan Paul and Hulk Hogan were blowing smoke up each other's asses. But the Kevin Nash stuff, I just got a nice little chuckle out of that. So Kevin Nash had recently said on his podcast that he's basically salty over the fact that Logan Paul gets the amount of money that he makes and is working very limited dates. Wow, that sounds almost very familiar. Like, Nash, you should be high-fiving this dude. I believe Nash is working people. I think he is working people, y'all. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. But anyway, Nash says he's not one of the boys. Where would he learn that shit at? Where is he going up and down talking jargon? In the building, everyone is in their own motor coach. There is no interaction. There is no socialization. You don't become one of the boys just because you're around them. From what I heard, he's making 5 million bucks for limited. And all those other guys are out there making house shows. Fuck you. Fuck you. That's from the boys. Fuck you. I don't give a fuck how many people are following you. If it said you have 24 million Rhodes Scholars following you, you're fucking Jesus. You have a bunch of idiots. So, a correction. That's idiots with a capital I. No, I'm reading this and I'm just going, Nash, you know damn well game respects game. You know you like this shit. Like, why you faking? Like, come on, dude. Dude, why you faking? I do have Logan Paul's response to this. We will load this up for you and let you guys hear the audio of this. But yeah, Logan Paul responded. Oh God, I think this is the clip right here. No, 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 no. We're gonna play that for you guys later. Let me go back here. Where is that link? Hang on. Logan Paul, Logan Paul. I know I sent that link to myself before the show. Hang on. That's okay. This is what I'm talking about. 1 minute, it's like, and I know for a fact I sent this link to myself here so that I could easily retrieve it later. And like, not everything is transferring over. Here we go. I got the clip now though, so it's all good. All right, here we go. You got to listen to this. This is hilarious. Oh, wow. I mean, I love this response. I ate this up good. You know, I swear, look, 2 cents from a distance, we have seen Kevin Nash put some stuff out there, and he does a good job working mofos. He does a good job working mofos. Yes, we had the interview there where Logan Paul was talking with the Hulkster, and they were talking wrestling jargon, certain terminology. Logan Paul, not sure what the hell the Hulkster was talking about. And to see Hogan's facial expression over, wait, you don't know, like in your wrestling, like what the hell? Like I get it. I get it and everything, but no, Kevin Nash has always struck me as, hey, you're able to make that money? Shoot, go ahead, handle your business. Make that money any way possible for as little as possible. Go ahead. Remember, this is the same Kevin Nash when WCW was acquired by WWE. Oh yeah, yeah. So what we doing here? We gonna do this jump? You coming on? Kevin Nash decided, nah, I'm gonna collect this guaranteed money. Sit on my damn sofa, right? Yeah, we didn't see them jump immediately like Booker T right? We didn't see them pull a Booker T. They waited till that joint expired. So I refuse to believe. Look, if Kevin Nash is legit serious about this, I can't help but shake my head and go, Nash, you want all the praise being given to you when it comes to guaranteed money, guaranteed contracts. Hey, today's wrestlers, they wouldn't have all this. They wouldn't have these luxuries that they have now if it wasn't for guys like myself, Scott Hall, Hulk Hogan, brother. You got to recognize game. You know, pay us our respect. Okay, you can't say all that and then be like, you're not one of the boys. You're not one of the boys because you don't know certain terminology. You're not one of the boys because you're not out there busting your ass like the rest of these guys are busting their ass. You're working limited dates. So it's like, yeah, but you ended up working limited dates as well and how you got your contract deal structured and all that jazz, right? It's like it's so funny to me. It's like you want the praise when it benefits you the most, but yet we're going to be critical when it comes to somebody that essentially is pulling one of your moves from your playbook that you wrote. Hey, I might not like the game, but I respect the hustle. I look at it no different than the Brock Lesnar situation, any other situation you wanna put in front of me. Yep, yep, yep. Right? Hey, you able to make that money at the end of the day. It's much like when people were complaining with the whole Brock Lesnar appearance per deal situation, number of dates that he was doing. I remember how fans would come into the stream and they would be so passionately pissed off over the fact that Brock Lesnar, man, he's got that belt and he ain't doing a goddamn thing. He be barely making appearances. We're seeing this dude like twice every 4 months. What kind of bullshit is that? You know, fuck Brock Lesnar. And it's like, okay, Brock Lesnar isn't putting a gun to WWE's heads, right? You know that when it's all said and done, it takes two to tangle. When it's all said and done, Brock, maybe Brock and his agent are brokering this deal with WWE. Okay, what are you thinking? What's the numbers? What are you thinking? They're going back and forth, much like how it is in the NBA and the NFL, hockey, you name it, right? Going back and forth, back and forth. You look at what happened with Dak Prescott. Oh, that goddamn Dak Prescott. Well, hey, don't take all the anger there on Dak Prescott. Put the blame where the blame needs to be given. Put the blame on Jerry Jones and everybody involved in structuring that new deal and giving him all that money. And hey, will he earn it in due time? We'll have to wait and see, right? Some people, though, hey, we've seen enough. We've seen what we have need to see, and it ain't really good. We need to go in a different direction, right? But my whole point takes multiple people to tangle here to get this deal worked out. And ultimately, it's the employer that's okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah, we'll agree to those terms. We'll agree to those terms. So if Logan Paul, I don't give a if Logan Paul is able to get $50 million from WWE and he's only doing 25 dates out of the whole year. Again, 25 dates for the whole calendar year. And he's getting 50 million. Hey man, if that was you, if that was me, hey, if that's what they willing to agree to, take that money and run. Right? We gonna do it. What else are we gonna do? It's real easy to talk a good game, shit talk, and all that when it's not you in that position and all that. So I believe there's multiple things that is being said right here that's true. I believe in part Kevin Nash is fucking with listeners, but I also believe at the same time Kevin Nash is essentially relaying to the listeners what he pretty much is hearing from some of those that he's been talking to in WWE that he is maybe friendly with. I know usually first couple of people that come into mind, oh, he's got to be talking to Shawn Michaels. He's got to be talking to Triple H. You know, that's got to be how he's getting his information here. They're probably relaying to him, you know, what they're upset about. You know, if anything, for as heavily politically influenced that Kevin Nash is, as anybody that follows Kevin Nash on social media, you see all the stuff that he's putting out there on social media, and it could be too much for some people, right? You know, okay, on occasional posts, okay, but like, man, multiple times a day, I'm always seeing this guy talking, you know, political stuff. I'm kind of tired of that. I'm very surprised that he has not come after Logan Paul from the standpoint of, and if he has, you know, y'all need to check me up to speed, but I've not seen it in circulation, so that's why I'm assuming he hasn't gone there yet. But knowing that Logan Paul is pretty much, you know, his beliefs, his religious, his political affiliation, and all of that, I'm surprised Kevin Nash hasn't gone for that. I'm surprised that Kevin Nash hasn't gone for, look at all of these legal issues that Logan Paul is having here. Now, Nash would have won hands down if he would have won in those areas. Hey, I don't understand why my guys in WWE are messing with this kid right now. The hell with how many followers he has. Look at all of these lawsuits left and right that's going on. Look at all of these Ponzi schemes, crypto schemes that's going on. Look at the foul crap that has been associated with this guy and his little YouTube channels or whatnot. Look at what's happening with him when it comes to animals. You know, on the one hand, he wants to be given credit for helping out this neglected animal or whatever, adopting this pet. But then on the flip side to it, he's doing some form of torture to that animal, which is not cool. If Nash was really serious about, yo, I ain't down with this Logan Paul cat, he would have really, really gone there in those highlighted areas mentioned. So, you know, there's a part of me here feels like there's a little bit of fuckery, you know, little screwing of the minds here on the fans, but it's kind of blended a little bit where part of it could also be he's kind of relaying what certain people are saying about Logan Paul, how they feel. There's multiple things that could be said here that's true. But I just ultimately am I really supposed to believe that Logan Paul is really Kevin Nash is really upset with Logan Paul over the amount of money that he's making for the very little dates? And Nash pretty much is the one that had pretty much set the standard for, you know, contracts, guaranteed money, and all that. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about that. So, hey, shout out to AEW's The Blade. He had successful back fusion surgery recently, like in the past several days. Wishing him a speedy recovery, as most of you guys know that are on top of your wrestling. Check out AEW and everything. Blade's been out of action since first quarter of this year, like January. So it's nice to know that he's doing good. The surgery was a success. Going to be a long road to recovery. Wishing him nothing but the very best. Also, there's a report being floating around out there about Kiana James. One of the reasons why we haven't seen her on WWE programming, because remember, she got drafted to the Raw brand. Allegedly, she is dealing with a injury and she's going to be out there estimating potentially 6 months. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. Definitely wishing her a speedy recovery. Odyssey Jones allegedly fired from WWE over domestic abuse allegations. Boy, I tell you what, not good to hear. That is not good to hear whatsoever. Odyssey Jones, here's a guy that came into the WWE, I mean, what, 2019, and he mostly did dark matches, few live shows here and there, but we really did not start seeing this guy on television not for a couple of years. I don't think it was really until late 2022 going into 2023 that we saw him be part of the NXT roster and everything. And then let's not also forget, he got drafted to Raw twice. He got drafted to Raw in 2023. Nothing happened with that guy. He never made an appearance, not one. All he kept doing was dark matches and live TV after he was drafted to Monday Night Raw. But then he got drafted again in 2024. Remember that draft? To Raw. And we're like, wait, how does that work? How does, right? You got drafted once to Raw and like nothing happened with you. You get drafted again to Raw. But then even at that, you're not instantly activated because once that 2024 draft went down, we didn't see him surface until August of I think it was like August of this year, if I'm not mistaken, is when he finally had popped up, right? So all of this, and then let's not forget, he's been involved in controversy. It was back in 2022 where he shared a post that was making fun of a trans couple that decided they wanted to have a kid. And he had posted a laughing emoji while quoting the article in question and all that. And the fans lit his ass up and everything, right? So he's been involved in some, like, dude, why you want to be, you're off to the wrong foot here. You want to get yourself in good graces with the fans because you do it right. You'll be eating good, you'll be paid good. Like, what the hell? So, kind of interesting what's been going on here with Odyssey Jones. I know Fightful Sean Ross Sapp reported the reason for Odyssey Jones' potential WWE dismissal is because of some domestic violence allegations against Odyssey Jones that came to light. Brian Alvarez pretty much echoing the same thing while jumping out there further saying this guy was fired. Interesting enough, there is a account on X, and you're kind of led to the impression that this could be potentially said victim or maybe a family or friend of said victim that post all this stuff about what was going on with them and Odyssey Jones while on a vacation. And it was a nice little thread that was going on there. I want to see if maybe I can pull it up if it's still active. I doubt it, but hang on here. I might be able to find it. I have to see here. But yeah, they're talking about on a vacation. Trying to see if I can find it real quick. That really had went under the radar. I wish I knew the name of the account that's in question because when all of that had came to surface, I want to say that came to surface around June or July. So to hear all of that, you would just like to think that when WWE had caught wind of that, they're already taking their cues from what had happened with the Vince McMahon allegations and everything. Look at this great momentum of a ride that WWE is on right now. Uh, that form of bad press, like Yeah, WWE, and they could have easily just, okay, you know what? These are allegations. What happened to innocent until proven guilty? But then it's one of those ordeals where, okay, do we continue to ride this out and risk doing future media scrums where this topic is brought up? And right. So I think in this case, WWE, I think where there's smoke, there's fire. I honestly believe that WWE likely, once they caught wind of it, I don't think it was a situation where they just went, okay, we're done with this guy. I would not be surprised if they actually sat him down or called him, hey, what's going on here? We're hearing that something you want to tell us. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he was honest, and or if it was a case where they did their own respected investigating. you know Obviously they're gonna, with their resources, especially from their HR department, all that. I mean, just their resources, they're gonna be able to find out something and then some, right? If there's some bodies that need to be dug up, they're gonna find some. They're gonna find something. To the point, I know Sean Ross Sapp said that as far as any reports go, police reports, charges, there's nothing right now. So it is literally a he said, she said type of situation. So, you know, a lot of interesting things going on here, but I tell you one thing that I want you guys to focus on. Something of an allegation like this. If it was not true, Odyssey Jones, and I've been a firm believer in this, when an allegation is made about you and it's not true, you are going to be very passionate and you are going to be, oh, no, 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 no. I need to get in front of this ASAP because this ain't cool. What's going on here? No, no, no. I need to get in front of this story. The sooner I speak, the better, because this ain't true. And I need for my followers to know what's going on. The fact that radio silent, this man continues to be radio silent. That's not good. That is not good whatsoever. You would like to believe that, by now, okay, look, if you want to take maybe a day or two, process what's being put out there, think about exactly how you want to respond to this. Okay. Anything longer, many can look at that as some form of a admission of guilt. So, and for those of you that might be curious, yeah, he has not posted anything on social media. I'm looking at his social media account right now. The last thing that he posted was something on August 24th saying this game is amazing and we can feel in the air this season will be amazing. Hashtag football is back. Go orange. And after that, he reposted something from the USA Network. It was a scene from Monday Night Raw. That was on August 26th, and that pretty much was it. So, longer you stay radio silent, not good, not good. I always say. So, interesting what's going on there. It sucks because it seemed as though the big man, some potential. What's really funny? Those of you that play WWE Supercard, one of the last game modes, I think it was maybe a last man standing mode, you had got an opportunity to get an Odyssey Jones card. So I just find it so ironic and tongue in cheek humor kind of there that once that event was over, you got that card, and I think that wasn't what's the newest tier? right now. I think it's SummerSlam 2024. I'm pretty sure his card wasn't that tier. I think his tier was I think his tier was in Enigma. I think his tier was Enigma. So from one alleged domestic abuse situation to another, Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella having issues with her, I guess, soon to be husband, because word is, at least according to TMZ and a few other entertainment outlets, she is trying to find legal representation because she is seeking a divorce. Uh, this husband of hers, remember, she first met this guy when they were doing Dancing with the Stars on ABC. Look, I don't give a flying, you know what, if because the argument that this husband is trying to make here, it doesn't justify, it doesn't, I don't care how you want to try to paint this. But if the report is true by this husband and his account that Nikki Bella threw a shoe at him and he was trying to do his best to diffuse the situation, and he basically grabbed her, and whether it was he put his hand around her throat or threw her to the sofa or put her up against the wall, whatever the case may be. Once you put your hands on a woman, all bets are off. That's it. Once you put your hands on a woman, all bets are off. Now, look, if you're trying to diffuse a situation, I can maybe understand to a certain degree. To a certain degree, especially if one is not abusive, I can understand grabbing somebody's wrist, and you're grabbing them. You're saying, "Hey, please stop. Calm down." Right? But in this day and age, I'm not even interested in going for the wrist. I'm just, okay, throwing a shoe at me. I'm going to the bar. I'm gonna let you cool off. Call me when you're ready to talk. Just go for the exit. I always say, just go for the exit. And Nikki Bella, that is some really nice, pretty skin that she has. I say that to highlight the fact that she relies on her looks. Without a doubt, from her face to her body, she relies on her looks. So, just all that's just bad. That's just bad. The last thing you want to be doing is putting yourself in a position where, I'll never understand that. I'll never understand it. If you say you love somebody, why are you getting physical with them? And I don't want to hear, oh, well, they got physical. Look, whether Nikki Bella can kick your ass or not, okay, she threw a shoe at you. So obviously she got hot headed over something. She got real, right. You don't want to escalate. You don't want to increase the tensions, and you want to de-escalate. Okay, what can I do that will help this person cool off, and most importantly, put me in a position where, I'm not going to do something reckless. I'm not going to do something stupid. Okay, like somebody needs to get themselves out of this situation and let cooler heads prevail. Let me just eliminate myself from this scene, and maybe in a couple of hours or the next day, we can come back, sit down, talk about this, right? That's how you always need to operate. That's how you always need to operate here. So uh sad to hear what's going on. And I know Nikki Bella had requested that fans respect her privacy and all that. I just hope nothing but the best, because you know, there's a kid involved. And at this point, all of us as fans, you can just, and our parents, you just go, damn. Well, for the sake of that kid, hope everything's okay. Hope everything works out. Divorce, whatever. Like, but once you put your hands on somebody, shit, you're going into some toxic territory. and it's very hard to come back from that territory. You know, you're talking to somebody that, unlike some people that will, just talk about certain, I've got that experience from the standpoint of when I was growing up as a kid, I bared witness to my mom being in a abusive relationship. And, I don't want to be long-winded and go down that rabbit hole, but I just remember some pretty dark days there where I wondered legit, is my mom gonna survive? Is she gonna make it? And I would say to her, why are you continuing to be with this guy? Like, he's not doing anything for us. He's not helping us. It's like we'd be better off on our own. If anything, this guy was mooching off of my mom, mooching. And I couldn't have been more prouder of her when she finally put her foot down after seeing me come out of the closet with a baseball bat, ready to actually, no, it was a hockey stick, I think. I was ready to kick his ass because I had enough. He put his hands on her too many times, as far as I was concerned. And the way that he would always, and these are the worst kind of abusers I can't stand. I hate those kind of abusers that, okay, I'm not gonna mess the face up because I know if I mess the face up, oh man, that's like, so I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna mess with the back. I'm gonna mess with the ribs. I'm gonna mess with the hips. I'm gonna mess with the thighs. That's where this piece of human waste was. That's what he was doing with my mom. But I tell you what, I was so proud of her when she, okay, yeah, this had enough. And once her mind was made up and she rolled out, boy, she was good after that. She was good after that. Um, so I know what it's like. I know what it's like to be in a household where, it's one thing if, okay, it's an argument, first time for everything. This person's yelling, oh, this person threw something. Oh, the other person is charging at them, and why are you throwing stuff at me? Stop, but there's so little. There's a lot actually that we don't know about what's going on here. Um, it wouldn't be fair to speculate further, but if you're a Nikki Bella fan, the best thing that you can do is keep that kid of theirs in mind and hope for the best. And whatever is going on with Nikki and that whole situation, it resolves itself and all parties for the better, they'll be okay. Last thing I want to get into, gone, some gone way too soon, not forgotten. Rest in peace, John Cassidy, who was a comic book artist, writer, and a television director. You guys may be best familiar with his work for the critically acclaimed Planetary with Warren Ellis, Astonishing X-Men with Josh Whedon, Captain America, Star Wars. We lost a good one there. Lost a good one. He died at the age of 52 this week. It definitely has the fans in the entertainment, particularly the comic book world, stunned and greatly saddened. Also, come on, man, the great, the legendary James Earl Jones. For those of you that are familiar with my 30 with Lee series, which exclusively reviews movies, TV shows, we've had that on hiatus for a minute now, but yeah, I've been talking more and more with Tams, and I'm saying, yo, I think I'm getting the itch to kind of bring this series back here because there's like, with some retweaks, obviously, maybe with a better working title or whatever. But um, it's funny because with the whole 30 with Lee title, Basically, the goal would be to get done talking about, whatever movie or movies or TV shows within 30 minutes or whatever. Um, but I don't really think it truly captured what the series is about and everything. But anyway, I don't know. We'll see. But James Earl Jones, yes, Darth Vader, hands down, Darth Vader. Somebody had a very interesting post that the wifey has shared with me on social media, and it's very, very true. Um, by us now, I mean, really think about this. We lost the face of Darth Vader and Sebastian Shaw. We lost the body of Darth Vader and David Prowse, and now we lost the voice of Darth Vader in James Earl Jones. So, I mean, whatever you want to think about, if you want to think about Star Wars, and I know right on up till his death, I know he recently had laid down some voice work and all that. Or you want to think about Coming to America. I wish he had a bigger role in part two, but that's just me and my wishful thinking. But Coming to America, loved him in that. Or you want to think about The Lion King, right? I mean, that is his claim to fame, those roles that I mentioned right there. But I also think about his roles in movies slash TV miniseries that doesn't get talked about enough. How about Roots, The Next Generations? He portrays Alex Haley. And if you know anything about history, particularly Black history, Alex Haley had decided he would try to learn about his respected roots, his family roots, because it's a autobiography and everything. He wanted to learn more about where he came from, his family, and all of that. And while he was juggling all of that, he ultimately had got the opportunity of a lifetime in interviewing Malcolm X. And great book. I highly recommend that you guys pick it up. The autobiography of Malcolm X, as told to Alex Haley. Highly recommend that you guys pick it up. Great read. You learn a lot. You learn a lot. You learn a lot. So I think about that though. Roots, the next generations. I know a lot of people kind of weren't really fans of Next Generations, but I thought it was a fantastic companion piece to what happened with the original Roots series. That's from 1979. So I definitely would recommend you guys not familiar with that from his catalog to check that out. Here is a man that entered the world of acting basically Broadway, through Broadway, slash plays. That is how he pretty much ultimately transitioned into the film industry, was because of his Broadway work and everything. Always a and you could tell with like every performance that he ever did, you could tell that there was a theatrical dramatic effect to it, but in a good way. And it really helped carve him out distinctively for the film industry. It really, really did. Here is a man, and you can't help but really admire him because he had a very bad speech impediment. He would stutter like a mofo. I mean, it was really, really, really bad. And it was something that he was not really able to overcome until I don't think he was able to overcome it until he got into his 30s, maybe. I can so relate to that because when I was much younger, my stuttering was bad. And I would mainly stutter because I was very shy. I didn't really want to speak. Now I have an occasional stutter if I'm very excited about something or if I have a brain fart about something, but it's pretty rare that it happens. So I can relate to that whole, okay, trying to overcome this obstacle right here. But for me, what James Earl Jones represented as an actor, for me growing up as a kid, and it's sad because by the time I really started to become familiar with him, essentially you could make an argument, well, he's already past his peak because by the time I was born, Conan had already been out. I couldn't even tell you if they were on the third Star Wars movie yet. I couldn't quite tell you that. But the roles that he was taking on that I saw of him as a kid growing up in the 80s, he was starting to play professors, he was starting to play uh, granddad's and all that. One role that stands out to me, and this movie would not hold up well in 2024, I must say, 1986 Soul Man. You got to be open minded when you watch this movie now. But this movie, Soul Man, it is about this this white guy who is a college. He is a college prospect. That's the best terminology I can use. He's a college prospect, and he's trying to do everything in his power to be accepted by colleges because I think, if I remember the storyline right, I believe his parents cut him off financially because they felt he was being too irresponsible with the money line that he was given. And so I think the timing of it was bad because he was trying to figure out what he was going to do for college. And so him and his friend is trying to help him with the applications, all that other stuff. And there's one college that this guy ends up applying to, and I think he got rejected the first time. And I think the main reason why he got rejected is because this was an all black school or something like that. Or maybe something had to do with the financial aid requirement. Like if you're black, you'll be able to get a free ride or some crap like that. So he decides, okay, well, I'm going to go on ahead and with your help, old buddy, old pal, I'm going to become a black person. And so that's what they did. They got him a wig. If you want to say blackface, look, when you see the makeup job that was done to him, you are more than welcome to say blackface. But I remember James Earl Jones played the professor on that joint. And I couldn't help as a kid, and then even as I got older, I couldn't help but look at that and go, you guys couldn't tell that this man right here, that he really is not black, that he is freaking white as I don't know what. Like, are you serious? And I remember one of the main reasons why I had enjoyed that movie so much, not because of James Earl Jones as the professor, but I did my best to tolerate it because I back then had the biggest crush, and I still have the biggest crush on her today. Ray Dawn Chung. My God, what a great looking face, great body. Um, More should have happened for her acting career. More should have happened for her acting career. But I promise you, when you look at that movie, you go, "Ooh." That's all I gotta say. And how James Earl Jones was able to just keep a straight face and be associated with that project, I will never really know. But my top two personal James Earl Jones movies, 1970s, The Great White Hope. It's so funny because when everybody was giving tributes, everybody was just and look, I get it. I get it because when you talk about The Lion King, when you talk about Star Wars, you're talking specifically about a couple of generations that grew up on those, and I get it. But I was so surprised that The Great White Hope from 1970 did not get mentioned. That is a timeless classic film. It is about a black boxing champion who is struggling with his personal life and professional life as he is trying to survive in a predominantly white established community and industry. Here is a man that is trying to love who he wants to love, be where he wants to be, um, the whole nine yards. He just wants to be treated not for the color of his skin, right? But just, treat me on my own respected merits, right? Treat me with respect, right? Judge me by my character. That's how I want you guys to roll here. This was based on former boxing heavyweight champion Jack Johnson. Literally, frame for frame, Jack Johnson. So if you know your boxing and all that, but that film, I remember that film had such a huge impact on me. It left me with such a great impression. Those was one of my first earliest memories, besides Conan the Barbarian and Soul Man, The Great White Hope. I remember coming across that film. And that was in part because of my mother. My mother on the weekends, she loved her a classic movie. She loved her something from the 70s. She also loved stuff from the 50s and 60s as well. I think that's where my deep appreciation for not just black exploitation films, but also a good black and white story, black and white movie. I'm trying to say that I think that's where all of that had came in is through her. But I remember that was one of the first movies I remember watching, thanks to her. Another one I want to recommend, last one I want to recommend, would be Claudine. That's another one that does not get talked about enough. 1974's Claudine, with Diane Carroll. That was such a great movie. Holds up very well to this day as well. Very mainstream, very current. So basically, Claudine tells this story of Diane Carroll's character, Claudine, that has multiple children. I don't know, and I can't remember if it's by different baby daddies or what, but she is the mother to these multiple kids. And they are trying to do everything they can to survive in this little crammed apartment. I believe there's maybe two rooms. All the kids pretty much are split up in those rooms, and she has her own room, or maybe she shares the room with one of her daughters or whatnot. It's a low rent, low income project. So she's definitely in the ghetto. James Earl Jones plays this trash man. That's all he is. He's a garbage man. Always coming by, same route, all that. And he's been coming by this particular route for a minute now. He's had his eyes on Claudine, but she never gives him the time or day. Because her whole thing is, "Yeah, okay, yeah, I know you just want to hit it and run. You just all about the cookies. That's all you about. You all about hitting and running." And so James Earl Jones' character, he's like, "Yo, you got me raw. Like, I'm not even trying to roll. I'm not even trying to step up to you like that. It's not even like that. I'm really trying to get to know you. What's up?" And so Claudine makes it very hard for him at the beginning. She tries her best to run this dude off, but he ain't taking no for an answer. Even right down to the point when she reveals how many kids she has. Because I think it was I think it was maybe 5 or 6 kids that she has. And like her oldest son, I think the son is maybe somewhere between 15 to 18 or whatnot. He's getting into a little bit of trouble and all of that. But when she reveals how many kids she has, she's thinking, okay, now he's gonna run off. James Earl Jones' character is like, okay, and I'm still here. And what's up? It's a great romantic, semi comedy, but more so drama and romance, I would say. Nice solid soundtrack as well. I think it was 6 or 7 kids total that was in that movie. Yeah, 6 or 7. I'm not sure if it's the same baby daddy or what. You guys gotta watch the movie. But that was another one that a lot of people, oh man, hey, really, really good. So I would definitely recommend you guys check those out. Um, Truly a legend though. I saw all the tributes that was coming in. Really great stuff. Really great stuff. Shout out to my boy Jason Solomon from Solar Monster Sounds Off. I didn't even know he met James Earl Jones. I saw a picture that he had shared. I'm going, now that's cool. I'm going, that's badass. Last but not least, and this one was announced earlier this morning. I happened to be up. I was watching Morning Joe with the wifey, and she was like, "Oh no." I'm like, "What?" Let me not say anything because you always are asking me the cross reference, and a lot of times the stuff is inaccurate. So give me a minute. Like, okay, I'm continuing to watch TV. And then about 5 minutes later, she goes, "Yeah, it's legit. Frankie Beverly passed away." I'm going, "Wait, what?" She's like, "Yeah, Frankie Beverly passed away." Like, but you know what? Here's the thing. Just as I had kind of said to her, that I'll say to you guys, I wasn't really surprised. I was not really surprised because there were so many things that was going on leading up to Frankie Beverly passing, almost kind of similar to James Earl Jones. How many of you all remember, for instance, going back to James Earl Jones and then looping it back to Frankie Beverly? How many of you all remember the news item that came about a few months ago where James Earl Jones basically gave the green light to Disney and others that after his passing, his voice can continue to be used even in AI generated purposes for whatever projects. So if they want to do a Star Wars 1001, whatever, and they want to do something with the Darth Vader character, they want to do something with the James Earl Jones voice, they got permission. James Earl Jones was able to ink that deal out before he passed away. So you're going, holy crap, like, whoa, like seriously? Look that up if that's your first time hearing that. Looping it back to Frankie Beverly, there was a few things that was just, I'm not really sure about this. Like I remember less than 5 years ago, Frankie Beverly did this interview, and the question was brought up about new music. We're working on. I'm going, yeah, but people been waiting for new music forever from Maze featuring Frankie Beverly. Like we're happy with the hits that we got and everything. And anytime you want to come on and happy feelings, Happy feelings in the air. Like, okay, all right, hey, I'm down, man. You put that on. I'm jamming. You want to play that live? Like, I'm right there. Okay. It's like, yo, can we get some new music? Like, what's up already? Hit us up. We thirsty. All right. All this love, all these years later, at least drop one more album. Just title it Thank You. That's it. Thank you. And you guys can just peace out. But I thought it was weird that in the time after that interview, okay, no new music is coming out. And then the touring was becoming less and less. And I was really noticing that latter part because I would say off and on to the missus and our friends, hey, maybe we can all get together. We can go to a Maze concert. Like, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Yeah, that'd be badass. Right. And like scheduling never worked out to be able to pull that off. And then to hear what was going on with the band, all of a sudden, Frankie Beverly, and now it makes sense when you think about it in retrospect. And now it makes sense. Frankie Beverly, all of a sudden, distancing himself from his fellow bandmates, basically dismissing them, if you want to say fired, whatever. And they all weren't given really an answer as far as, okay, what's going on here? We have a right to know. Like, we made all this great music. We've been touring together. What's going on? Why is he? Now it makes perfect sense in retrospect. Because I remember watching the bandmates, I think it was on Roland Martin. They were on Roland Martin's network, Black Network, and they were talking with him about their dismissal from Maze. And he just was going, it's so weird because I wasn't upset as I was hearing them all lay this, and they had nothing but profound respect for Frankie. Their whole thing was, hey, I wish this man would have communicated with us directly, because even when we tried to contact him after the fact, all of a sudden now we're going through his lawyers, we're going through his agents, and it's like, what the hell's going on here? Now it all makes sense. Now it all makes sense. Right on up through hearing about Frankie Beverly. Oh, he's doing a farewell tour. After teasing, this was my thought process. After teasing new music for the past couple of years, now all of a sudden, farewell. The hell? So to hear about his passing, it doesn't really surprise me. Uh, yeah, I don't want to speculate on possibly what might have, right? But I will say I do feel there was some type of an illness that definitely was going on, which is why he started putting the affairs in order and everything. And for those not familiar with Frankie Beverly, if you love you some Philadelphia music, that great Philadelphia sound, think Hall and Oates, right? Just think about your favorite Philadelphia bands. MSF was MSFB, the MSF band. Lot of great bands came from Philly, man. Maze being one of those. You want to talk about soulful. You want to talk about R&B. You want to talk about soul funk. That was Maze featuring Frankie Beverly and then some. I mean, man, let me tell you something. That music of theirs didn't matter if you were young, old, black, white, girl, boy, in between, kid. It didn't matter. That music of theirs, so uplifting, so inspirational. Man, you put some Maze on, you're gonna have a good time. Cause it was all about nothing but good times, good vibes, all of that. Let me tell you something. If there are tensions in the air with a group of people, especially in the black community, especially in the black community. Man, you turn on some Maze, all of a sudden, whatever was going on, whatever tensions was in the air, it evaporated. Everybody's singing along, having a good time, dancing. Man, I'll never forget. I'll never forget when it came to my honeymoon. I'll never forget when it came to my honeymoon. I paused there with that dramatic pause because I hear my dogs barking. We got a contractor looking at our backyard because the siding of the house, there's some work that needs to be done. So we're trying to get some estimates done. But anyway, forgive me in advance for if the barking gets louder. But that's what usually happens when Chloe and Precious hear and see somebody new. They're kind of like, "What are you doing here? What are you all about?" And they never adjust. They never adjust. Their whole thing is get out. Well, no, you get out. But anyway, I remember my honeymoon weekend. We had sailed on this boat that was just off of the waterfront in Southeast DC. We went on this little boat called the Odyssey. And we had the best lunch that was on there with other folks. Very, very selectable menu and all that. But I just remember uh, they had put on Maze and Frankie Beverly. They had put on Before I Let Go. And that shit was tight. That shit was tight. All of a sudden, everybody started singing. And all of a sudden, people were getting up. And it was a beautiful thing to see, man. Everything that I just said, as far as black, white, like it didn't matter. Everybody knew the words. They were having a good time. Oh man, you know. Um, that one stings. That one stings a little bit. It stings because I grew up on Maze. Dude made that band, Frankie Beverly, they made an impression on me as far back as 1985, around that period for sure. Like you got to remember now, you got to remember Marvin Gaye put out that last album. What was the name of that album? Marvin Gaye. What was it? Midnight Motion. I'm trying to think of his last album, but the joint that had Sexual Healing on it. And a little bit after that, he passed away and all. Music videos becoming a really big popular thing and all that, with MTV, all that stuff. And I just remember one of the first music videos I recall watching was Maze and Frankie Beverly's Back in Stride. And I just remember going, yo, this band is cool. Like, okay, I like this. Like, and then they followed it up with 1989's Silky Soul. And of course, the lead track itself, Silky Soul, that was basically a tribute to Marvin Gaye. Can't Get Over You. God, that Can't Get Over You. Look, that whole album, because that's where they, as far as critically acclaimed, anybody that's not familiar with that album, I would go to that album and I would look at those particular tracks that I highlighted. If that doesn't really whet your appetites, then I would definitely go to 1993's Back to Basics, because for me, that is their all-time best and strongest album. I mean, my God, Nobody Knows What You Feel Inside. Love Is the groundbreaking track that got so much radio play and video play the morning after. After the morning after, oh, after the night before. When all of the fun is over, Oh, that was a damn good album. Damn good. I mean, they made some really damn good hits. And that Back to Basics album, top to bottom, looking in the middle, that whole album flows. That whole album flows. Kick ass. So, it sucks. At 77. We don't know exactly how he passed, as far as what took him out and all that. I know his family had put out a little something on social media. He passed away at the age of 77. So, yeah, lost a lot of good people. We've been losing a lot of good people these past couple of weeks, man. A lot of good people these past couple of weeks. I know we had a couple of rappers that had passed away as well. It's just all like, what's going on here? All right, so want to give a shout out to some of our sponsors because without them, great content like what you guys are checking out right now would not be made possible. So I definitely want to encourage you guys, do your part. Look, you don't have to buy anything if you're not interested. But if you feel it's something that might apply to you, family member, or a friend, definitely check out the link on your own leisure and show some love and everything. Want to give a shout out to my guys over at axiomofalchemy.com. Really great artists. Again, axiomofalchemy.com. Shout out to my people over at canaglobe.biz // sweet sensations. If you're interested in running your own cannabis dispensary, stuck on the whole licensing, just the entire process of starting up your own dispensary, but you want to do it for as little money as possible, well, you can with these guys for as little as $500. Everything's on the up and up, 100% legit. Check them out, canaglobe.biz // sweet sensations, or give them a call, 702-767-0683. We're also brought to you in part by our friends at Top Tier Financial Group. Check them out, toptierfinancialgroup.com. Let their tax experience of 15 years plus be put to good use for you. Shout out to my people over at MyED Med. If you're tired of paying all that money for Viagra or Cialis, call the folks at MyED Med at 1-833-693-3633. You can buy generic versions of these very same pills. Get the same great effects in the bedroom for much lower price. So on you. Also, shout out to friends of the show. Much love, much respect. Shout out to you guys as well, how you guys represent, whether you check out the shows live or you check out on demand and on the downloads. Appreciate the love and the support as always. We normally do not do a Wednesday afternoon show. Like I said, honestly, just happen to have the free moment. I figure, hey, what the hell? We'll see how this weekend is doing because it's a busy schedule. It is a busy schedule, but I'm trying to do my best to make sure that we're able to sit down and at bare minimum do 2 shows a week, do the Monday shows, and then do the wrestling with the topics over the weekend. And I just got a notification from Tams. She said, don't forget to mention the new sponsor. And I almost forgot about the new sponsor that we're working with. So hang on here. I want to make sure we definitely show them some love. Also, shout out to my guys over at, oh, it almost sounds like Nirvana. That's cool. NavaraPro.com. If you ever feel like online shopping just doesn't hit the mark, check out NavaraPro.com. Whether you're looking for the latest tech, home essentials, or a style refresh, they've got it all handpicked to meet your standards. They offer fast shipping, top-notch quality, and service you can rely on every time. Trust me, this isn't just another store. It's a shopping experience you'll love and keep coming back to. Check out NavaraPro.com today. Quality you trust, experience you love. Check them out. Happy to have them on board as a new sponsor. Welcome, welcome. All right, so get at your man on social media. Use all those fancy little things. You know what to do. You know the drill. You like this episode? I'll put more eyeballs on it, all that jazz. We'll do something for you guys this weekend with a new wrestling with the topics. And other than that, I will see you guys Monday after Raw goes off the air. All right. Be kind, rewind. Check out previous episodes, all that jazz. And until next go around, my pretty babies, I'm wishing all of y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. Take care, y'all. Peace.